Hey there, travelers. Mag and I here on day 35 of our trip across the United States. We are shooting here from Old State Line Road at the site of Pennsylvania's oldest geocache. Right here. This is, quite literally, the only target I have on my cache list today. That's it. Mission accomplished. Day 35 done. See you guys tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Yesterday we had a great day in Pittsburgh. Ames took us around and showed us the site. Aichan had a good day relaxing off the road with her friends Milo and Willow, but today we're back at it again. We are done with Pennsylvania, but we do want to see Erie. From this geocache, we're going to head into Erie and we're going to go see the sights of the city. I don't think that'll take us all day. We'll probably be out of there by early evening and then on our way into Ohio. No matter what happens today, we're already done. So we know this is going to be an easy day. But I suspect there's going to be a lot of good things to see in Erie. So come on, let's go tour Erie together.
The trail to reach the oldest geocache in Pennsylvania is not terribly long. It's only about a quarter-mile out on a decently maintained trail system. So it doesn't take long before you get to this bridge to cross over the creek. And since this happens to be the high point on the trail, it also offers the best viewpoint too. Even though we're still fairly close to the highway, it's easy to forget that out here. After the drive from Pittsburgh, Aichan was ready for a walk like this. And she was well rested too. A day off can make all the difference in the world for my furry companion, because she didn't even seem to mind when the last few hundred feet took us off into the woods, and we had to follow a crisscross of geotrails over the muddy swamp to get to what we were looking for. We both knew as soon as we reached this small clearing that we had arrived. The oldest geocache in Pennsylvania was just calling us to add our names. From the oldest, it was a straight shot over into Erie. Rather than heading straight into the city though, we went to Presque Isle State Park. This park is north of the city and offers a view back toward the city looking south. On the north end of the island, looking out into Lake Erie, is the Presque Isle Lighthouse. This is where we got our first view across Lake Erie, where we'll be spending the next few days. And walking out onto the shoreline, I'd think I was on the beach of the Atlantic Ocean if I didn't know any better. Although we were looking into Canada across the water, you certainly couldn't see it from here. Near the southeast end of Presque Isle State Park is the path to the Perry Monument. The monument sits out at the end of a bay with Misery Bay on the north side and Erie on the south side. This monument pays tribute to Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry. Under his leadership, the British were defeated at the Battle of Lake Erie during the War of 1812. The name Misery Bay comes from what his troops had to endure after the battle was won. I can't even conceive of the idea of walking across this frozen lake to reach Erie for supplies. And if you happen to make it all the way to the east side of Presque Isle State Park, you're rewarded with a trip to nature's playground. This cool playground is designed to mimic the feel of the outdoors for children. The playground equipment consists of logs and boulders arranged in a way that children can interact with nature in a healthy way. Coming back around the point in Presque Isle State Park to Erie, our first stop was the Bicentennial Tower in Dobbins Landing. The tower was constructed in 1995 to commemorate the city's bicentennial in 1996. From the water's edge at the base of the tower, you get to look right back into Presque Isle State Park. It was kind of interesting to me to see this view from the other side this time around. This seems to be a place where a lot of the locals like to hang out. The base of the tower features several cool statues, benches, picnic tables, and restaurants. It's a very nice walk around the Bicentennial Tower, even if you don't decide to climb up to the top. But if you do buy tickets and make the ascent, you'll be rewarded with a climb of 210 steps to reach the second observation deck 138 feet above the city. We're still feeling those 1,000 steps though, so we skipped. Our last stop of the day was the Mad Anthony Wayne Blockhouse. To get there, you have to pass a guardhouse at the Soldiers and Sailors Home, which is filled with American flags and tributes to our veterans. And just beyond that is the Veterans Memorial Cemetery, where every single headstone is graced with a flag. The story of Mad Anthony Wayne is something else altogether. The blockhouse is a reconstruction over his original gravesite, but his body is actually in two different places on opposite ends of the state.
Well, travelers, that marks an end to another day on the road, and it was a good day. Aicha and I accomplished all of our goals today, all one of them. We set the bar real low. All we needed to do was get the oldest in Pennsylvania, and that's how we started our morning. From there, we headed on into Erie. The first stop we visited was Presque Isle State Park. It circles around the north end of Erie, around the bay, and it offers a great view of the skyline of Erie from there. It was also our first viewpoint out into Lake Erie, which is where we're going to spend all of our day tomorrow, driving right along the edge of the lake in Ohio. We've got about 6 days to spend in Ohio. Each day is going to be about 250 to 300 miles and very manageable target lists. So I think we're going to stay right on time with where we need to be all week long. We've lost the rest of our daylight now, but that doesn't mean our day stops. Aichan and I are going to go ahead and push on until we can get into Cleveland. From Cleveland, that's where we're going to stage to start our morning, because there's lots of interesting things we want to see and do there before we get on with our miles for tomorrow. We appreciate you guys tuning in to join us. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you out on the trails.